Recording.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and welcome to today's PowerBI Virtual Chapter webinar. We're glad that you joined us today for our presentation. I have a few introductory slides that I'm going to go over. And by the way, my name is Scott Murray. I'm one of the hosts for the PowerBI chapter. And I'll go through these introductory slides and then we'll definitely jump right into our presentation today with Johan. So just a couple things going on. The most important one probably that's going to be going on in the BI Business Analytics space is the Business Analytics Virtual Chapter. And there is a discount code, and I will get that. I thought I had entered that here. I will get that before the broadcast is over, and I'll post that out there for you. They had just sent out a new slide deck, and I forgot to update that. So I'll get that out to everyone with the discount code. Couple things also going on. They got SQL Rally that's coming up in March, and there's also a 5% discount code there if you look down in the bottom right. I did get that one updated. This just kind of mentions all the different virtual chapters that are available for you to join. You can see there's some that are very oriented to specific topics, and then those are oriented to specific locations. So be sure to check out, and you can join more than one. You're not just limited to a single location. Here's a list of all the virtual chapter meetings. We're almost at the end of February, so at the time that we initially did this presentation, there were still coming up, but there is a constant number of virtual chapter meetings. Just head out to the past website and click on each of the individual virtual chapters. You can find out when their next meetings are going to be. So this is also mentioning SQL Saturdays, and those are a wonderful opportunity for you to get free training. Normally you have to pay for lunch, or there's a very small registration fee, but generally it's free training. Wonderful opportunities. You get a lot of good speakers that are there to help you grow your SQL skills. You can also volunteer. Remember that PASS is a volunteer organization, and there's plenty of opportunities similar to what both Johan and I are doing today, me as a host, Johan as a presenter. We're definitely willing to accept new people that want to do presentations and also do other volunteer type of activities that are available to you. So just kind of mention the communication methods that are available out there for us to contact you. And basically you have LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and then of course the SQL Pass website that you can always jump over to. So that's the end of my introductory slides. I did just want to mention a quick few items here, and then we're going to do a poll. Number one, if you do have questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A area that's going to be on the GoToWebinar panel that opens up. So just click on that, add your questions, and we will be sure to take a look at those. Secondly, I want to thank PragmaticWorks. PragmaticWorks sponsors the PowerBI Virtual Chapter, and so we are very appreciative of them providing our basically our methodology for being able to give this to you for free. So what I'm going to do now is going to go ahead and introduce Johan. I'm going to make him a presenter, so this is going to take just a second. And in the meantime of doing that, we're going to jump on a couple polls that I would like you to take a look at. So let me jump over the screens. And okay, Johan, you are a presenter. So just to kind of mention, Johan is a business intelligence consultant who's been working with SQL Server since 2000. He works mainly with T-SQL, reporting, and visualization, and he's a certified QlikView developer and is also very happy to work in the BI space. So what we're going to do is jump this first poll here, and if you could, just go ahead and click on one or the other. We'll give everybody just a few seconds to answer the questions, and then we'll see what the results are. All right, I'm going to close that first one and share the poll. So 100% said they had yes. So let's open up the second poll here. Well, Johan, I am not able to get the second poll to come up. In true fashion, it says that it's closed. So let me see if I can jump over and do it real quick. Here we go. I got it. There we go. I'm going to launch the second one. And this one has to do with Azure. And see if you have a testing ground. So go ahead and answer that if you would for me. And we'll wait just a few seconds here. And we'll go ahead and close that poll. It looks like most everybody's voted. We'll share that. Oh, 100% again. And then we're going to do the last poll. And if y'all could just go ahead and answer this one also. And we'll wait a few seconds here. And I'll go ahead and close that one and share it. So 100%, all three. So that's interesting. All right, let me go ahead and hide the poll. And Johan, go ahead and take over from here. We can see your screen well, so we're ready to go.
All right. Hey, everybody. We're a bit few today since we postponed last week. Anyways, my name is Johan Ludvig, based in Norway, and let's see if we can get this started. And in case the PowerPoint template hasn't given me away, I work as a senior consultant in Capgemini, Norway. And I'm compulsory curious about everything computer related, and so far it hasn't really killed me, but who knows. Okay, since everybody has an MCN subscription and everybody has Azure VMs set up, I had prepared a bit of basics about Azure, so we'll just have a quick skip through that before we continue. We have, of course, the infrastructure as a service, which is the VM, and then we have platform as a service, which is the SQL Azure, for instance, and then we have software as a service, which is PowerBI. I really enjoy this section on explaining what as a service means, where you have traditional on-prem, and then you have infrastructure as a service, where you take and bake, and then you have pizza delivered, which is a platform as a service, and then dining out is software as a service. Of course, it isn't mine. I posted a link to the LinkedIn article where I found it. I've also seen other people use it, so it's rather common, but in presentations I haven't seen it that much, so feel free to use it. All right. What is PowerBI really? PowerBI is meant, or was meant as a self-service tool. It has a data discovery, which is PowerQuery, and then you have PowerPivot, PowerView, where PowerQuery is the data discovery, the ETL tool, PowerPivot is the modeling tool, and then PowerView is the presentation layer. Of course, you have PowerMap as well. That's another aspect of presentation, geospatial. And soon we get the dashboarding going. That's for now in a preview in the US. I have been able to get a hold of preview thanks to one of my colleagues. So I've been messing about a little bit with it. And one thing I noticed was that there are very few articles or blogs posted on how you do a complete setup of a testing ground with PowerBI and analytics and SQL Server in the background. So I thought I could share that with other people as well. So the data sources that you can use with PowerBI tonight, for now is in PowerQuery you have the SQL Server tables, you have SSAS cubes that you can query, which is for now it's MDX and multi-dimensional tuned, so multi-dimensional. So you will get poorer performance on a tabular cube than you will on a multi-dimensional one. The new version or the new preview of Power BI also has a very nice new connector, which is one of the things we're going to set up today, which is specifically tuned to Tabular at the moment. And then of course you can go through various web sites, flat files, etc. Though this will not be able, you will not be able to connect that for auto update or auto refresh in Office 365. Then you have Power Pivot, which can connect to OData feeds, which is shared PowerQuery feeds. You can go through the data management gateway, which is a connector that you can use to connect to SQL Server tables, both in Azure and on-prem. And the new preview, which is the Power BI Analysis Services connector, which is an add-on to the data management gateway. And that connects to tabular models at the moment. They haven't said if they want to release it for multi-dimensional yet, but who knows. So, data management gateway. It's used for connecting to in-house data sources. You can, of course, both use Azure VMs as well as your internal data sources. Depends on whether or not your IT department allows you to connect through. Though you can't test it properly without having a full licensed Power BI site, because the way it works, it has a shared key that you need to generate on your Power BI admin portal, and then you have to use that one on the server that you install the gateway. Also, it uses a combination of certificates which you have to generate locally, and you have a separate access key as well as your on-premise username and password. So it's not something that you want to just set it for a quick try unless you have a full-fledged Power BI license. So, if you want to run a trial, since everybody is running Azure on machines themselves, I guess you're aware of that Microsoft sponsors you for your MSDN subscription. It's about 750 Norwegian kroner, which is about $120. You can also get a full trial, free trial of Azure VMs directly through Microsoft, and they will sponsor you around $200 or 1,250 Norwegian kroner for a month, and that will take you quite a bit further than just the regular MSDN subscription. To get a successful Tabular connection, you will need an Azure VM with enough memory to hold your database. Of course, you will need Microsoft SQL Server license, either 2012 or 2014, and you need either BI or Enterprise Edition. You do need an Active Directory for this, and that means you will have to use or set up 2 VMs to hold your test environment or your production environment if you want to. And you need the Power BI Analysis Services connector, which is for now just the preview version. But the good news is that as long as you have a US business email address, you can get a preview, and that's on a test site as well, so you don't need to have a full-fledged Power BI license. Okay, I haven't written much. I thought everything should go as a demo, so I hope I have sacrificed enough to the gods of demos, so everything doesn't just pop up. First of all, it's important that you do this when you set up your environment. It's important that you do it on the right steps. The first thing you do when you have created your account is you have to go down to Networks and create a virtual network. And to create a virtual network, it's not a lot you have to do, but you need to do it on a custom, because the important thing is you want to specify which location you want it to be in. And this has to do with where you want your servers as well to be situated with the least amount of lag. For me, it's Northern Europe, which is the best. And then you skip the part with the DNS servers and the APN connectivity. We will add the DNS server later on. And then you create the virtual network address space. And you got your network. It's recommended that you don't use the 192, 168 range, that it uses either 10.0 or 172. After that, you can start off with your Active Directory box. And that can be a tin can. You don't really need a lot of resources on that one. What you do need is basic shared core and 768 megabytes of memory. You want to be stingy on this one because it doesn't really do much, just to allow you to connect to your Tabular later on. And then you put down the name you want for it, create a local admin, password, and then confirm. Remember also to have the affinity group placed in Northern Europe. And just get that screen. I'll just skip that for now. As you can see, I put it in an availability set. It doesn't really matter. The most important thing is that when you continue creating it, you select the virtual network. Otherwise, you won't be allowed to connect the two VMs together afterwards. So, when you boot that one up, I've already done that. Let's see now. So when you set up your Active Directory machine, you of course need to log on, install Active Directory. Let's see if we can log on as well. That would be very nice. There we go. And as you can see, I've already installed Active Directory on this machine. When you install Active Directory, you will also get a DNS server set. at the same time. So after you've installed and you shut down the computer, don't just restart it, shut it down. The next thing you need to do is you need to install a PowerShell for Azure. Which can be downloaded from the Azure portal as well. And then there's a script that you need to run. Let's see if I can remember what the name was. You need to set the static IP, and of course I lost that note. That's typical. Yeah, okay. I'll just have to go on. I'll add that to the notes later on, and people can get that downloaded. Pick one of the first ones that you get. Normally that would be 10.04 or 10.05, or depending on what subnet you selected. And set static IP, otherwise your DM or your Active Directory server will function properly as an DNS. You also need to have 2 disks installed. The reason for this is that your Active Directory, when you reboot it, will ask you to configure itself or to configure the database, and you need to have the database itself on a separate disk with no caching on it. That is because of the way Azure distributes its storage. So you need to make sure that it's not cached and distributed among several other disks, because that can corrupt your Active Directory. Yes, now. Afterwards, you need to put on set up your DNS server. I tend to use Google's OpenDNS as to the DNS forwarder, so that's 8.8.8.8 and 8.8.4.4. They're pretty quick and they are reliable. After you've done that, you need to go back to your portal. And you need to go down to Network and put up the DNS server, which is your Active Directory machine, and the local address that you've just set as the fixed IP. And then, after that is done, you can go on and configure your new database server. And the same thing goes for the database server. You need to have that added to the virtual network, and you have to have it on the same affinity set or the same data center as the first one. Also, when you are creating a Power BI site as a demo, you normally get a slightly different webmail or email or username than the one that you normally use for your local Active Directory. Of course, most people, when they put up a production environment in Azure, will federate their local Active Directories, so you can log on using your local user ID. But for a demo environment, and in some cases also if your IT department is very strict, that's not possible. And then it's a nice way to work around that by adding your Microsoft Power BI or your Live ID as a secondary domain in your Active Directory. Let's see now if I can go show you. Okay, I'm sorry I'm messing about a bit. I didn't sleep much last night due to traveling, so my brain isn't working correctly. Oh yeah, you need to add the PowerBI login as an alternate UPN suffix, and then you restart the server, and you can now start using your users. Let's see now. I can find my let's see, you can see here that I've put on UNS suffix, which enables me now to have a separate username to log in and be recognized as a domain user, even though I use an older account or the local admin account to connect to the Tabular server. The pass-through authentication will allow me to be recognized as an active domain user. Okay, going on to the SQL Server is pretty straightforward. After you join the database server to your domain, you can just download and install SQL Server, whichever version you want. Or if you feel like it, you can also pick when you create the VM, you can select one of the pre-installed images with the SQL Server Enterprise installed and ready to go. And then it's just a matter of installing the databases you want. For this time I just downloaded the AdventureWorks tabular model and the data warehouse database, just to see if we could get things up running. It does look like I haven't sacrificed enough for the demo gods today. Let's see now. Just close this one, I know I'm a stupid user. So, just a short view of the Microsoft Data Management Gateway. This is where you put in the key for the Power BI site, as well as registering your certificate. I haven't done that on this machine. You can work around using costly certificates by generating your own. It's a short and easy, just search on Google and you'll find a description on how to create your own certificate, but it's not very high risk or high security, so it's only for test environments. So for the Power BI Analysis Services connector, which is the most interesting part, you will first of all need to set up which user account you want to connect with, and then give the connection a name. And you add some sort of a description and an error message in case something goes wrong. And then you set up which database it's supposed to connect to. And then you connect to your Power BI site using your Power BI username and password, which is very easy, and you're good to go. So I've just used the simple AdventureWorks tabular model downloaded from Complex and published that to the server. And open up the public preview of Microsoft Power BI. And I can go to datasets. And as you can see, there are several new connectors available, both from CRM. You have GitHub, Power BI Designer file, which is when you use the offline version of the new designer, which is this one. The Power BI Designer is, simply said, the offline version of designing your dashboards and your Power Views outside of Excel and SharePoint and outside of Power BI online. The downside of the designer is that for now you can't refresh automatically. You will have to refresh on-prem on your local computer and then upload the report to the Power BI site, and it will be static. It can't be changed. You can modify the report, but you can't reload the data. That's something you can do here by just going to, for instance, SQL Server Analysis Services, and then connect. And then how many different database connections that you put up will be available here. See, mine is ready. You connect to it. One note on the connector as well is that it's normally not installed as a service, so it doesn't restart automatically with the server. I haven't tried enough with it to see if it's possible to fix that, but there are probably ways around it. And here it shows both my developer connections to the workspace, as well as all the different perspectives that are available for this one. So, for instance, implement operation or reset of frame. That's okay. And And after a bit of waiting, you will see it. It's not exactly fast. I hope this is just because it's a preview. And you will have, if you click on the data set, you will come up with what can be recognized for most people who have been running in Power BI. This is Power View Designer. Go back again. Notice that when you want to start designing either a dashboard or you want to design just a report, because it's geared towards dashboards, it will automatically set your reports underneath the dashboard that you have as a default opener. Here is the analysis sample that came with the preview. This is just a very easy one that I created a bit earlier. So if you want to continue developing on your own dashboard, you will need to create one and connect your reports to that particular dashboard. Otherwise, you will just keep on creating reports beneath the default one. Now that I've got the demo, I can click on my data sets and I can just add a small, simple Power View to the dashboard. So let's see if we can get sales by state province. Add a filter for that for a year. Just have the first year and pull the filter up to filters, and after a bit of waiting you can start filtering. Going back to fields again, you can now see you have a whole new range of visualizations that weren't available in the old Power View. So let's see if we can get a field map. So it's easy to just get something done. Also, when you want to have this one used on your dashboard, you need to use this pin to pin it to the dashboard. You save it. Going back, just click on the to share that one to the refresh. There's your recap. Okay, this one, the demo dashboard I have now, have used this, oh, sorry, not that one. I used the quick demo PowerView report as a basis, just to show you how it looks there. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah, be prepared for a bit of waiting while you're trialing this one. There we go. Again, just very simple with a map, bar chart, and the most strange one is this card that just for the total sales for 2008. As it looks rather better on the dashboard than it does standing up on the PowerView report. Okay, I think that's about it. Are there any questions?
Hi, Johan. I'm not seeing any questions, so if anyone does have any questions, please go ahead and post them in the Q&A area. We'll see, take a second here and see if anything pops up. In the meantime, I'll just kind of mention yet the session is being recorded, so you can play it back later. We'll post it to the past Business Intelligence Virtual Chapter YouTube site or channel, and it usually takes a couple days to get it out there. It's usually not immediate. Sometimes as long as a week for them to encode it correctly and then get it posted. So it will go out there again in about a week and be available for folks to review. I am not seeing any questions, Johan.
All right. Well, let's just wrap it up then, I guess.
Yes, so thank you so much for taking the time for the presentation today. We're very appreciative of, again, all of our speakers that come and do the webinars, so thank you very much. And we look forward to speaking with everyone on the next Business Intelligence Virtual Chapter webinar. So thanks a lot. Bye-bye, everyone.